Welcome to Making Pondo and Talking Pondo. Talking Pondo is a podcast where we pick out 2 movies each week and talk about them in detail. Making Pondo is a podcast where we talk to people we've made films with and we discuss all their experiences on set. Today on Making Pondo, we interview Bradford Trojan, who has acted in 2 of our feature films. And
All
we're
right.
back.
And we sure are. And here we are with our good friend, actor extraordinaire, musician, Bradford Trojan.
Ahoy, mateys.
Puppeteer.
A
Yes.
puppeteer.
Puppeteer.
What other
Did
titles?
we miss any of the others? What others?
Yeah,
what else?
what other, they could put titles in. A BA. I have a BA.
Podcaster.
Podcaster. Somatic therapist.
Yoga instructor.
Yoga instructor.
Herbalist.
Herbalist. Kombucha enthusiast.
Kombucha enthusiast. Chocolatier.
VHS connoisseur.
VHS connoisseur. Yes.
There you go. Yes.
Dad. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the most important role of your life.
Big one right now. It's the role of a lifetime.
The role of a lifetime.
So
I didn't have to audition too hard for it.
You got that
Marty,
one easy.
You're a little hot, Marty. Just lean back.
So I always want to lean into the microphone, but I should be.
That's
coming in hot on the show.
Coming in hot. I'm coming in hot, guys.
Coming in hot.
I'm coming out of the booth.
Bradford's a distinguished actor, and we've had the pleasure of working with him. It feels like more than 2 times, but it does. It's been the 2 movies. We did a music video together. Well, I mean, I edited it for you, but
yeah,
it feels like we made all 5 movies with Bradford. But we
it really does.
Revenge of Zoe and the new love song of William H. Shaw. And well, Bradford, how did you find Pondo Enterprises and start working with us?
Well, it was great because I was just kind of coming back into. And I want to say this is so much fun to be doing this with you guys. I just want to say that. I'll sort of front load it.
We appreciate you.
I want to front load it and come in hot here. So I was just kind of getting back into acting after a long break. And so this was 20 when Zoe, that was this 2017, right? I think.
Yeah.
So was that auditions?
Revenge of Zoe was 2017. Yep.
Yeah. So auditions were happening. So prior to that, I had gone back like 2 years previous and had kind of gone back and done a show, this really fun live show with this theater group I worked with in Philadelphia called Pig Iron Theater. With this, and they collaborated with this band that I was in and super friends with Dr. Dog, great band from Philadelphia. And I went back for that for a few weeks for the Philadelphia Fringe Festival, Live Arts Fest. And just really was like loving it, being back on, and acting and just getting in the zone. And so I came back to Tucson. I was living here, but came back and was like, I'm going to get an agent. I'm going to try this, So I got an agent up in Phoenix. And then as I did that, Alex Cox was coming here with the movie Tombstone, Rashomon. And so I auditioned for that. And I was like just kind of really coming back in. So, my chops weren't super up, but I like went out for one part, but I got something, I got a supporting role in the film. It was amazing, super fun, really great. And
you're in the shootout, right?
I'm in the shootout. I am Tom McLaury, one of the McLaury brothers, and I'm in the shootout. So there's many different ways that I get shot in that movie. And I think one time I get away. But there was basically on that I met Eric Schumacher, and he was Doc Holliday. So we had just a lot of time together on set and got to develop a friendship with him along with all the other local folks. Rogelio, who's a local actor, he's in LA now. Eric, a few other folks who've just kind of like, they're right outside town. But anyway, we got to be buddies, and I'm pretty sure that Eric told me about you guys, and that there was going to be a movie being filmed, Revenge of Zoe, that there was going to be some auditions. I'm not sure if that's what happened, if it was him that told me that, or if it was just it popped up on Facebook, just like whatever
Uh,
the local film, whenever some auditions pop up. I think that, so one of those two things, either Eric kind of preempted it, or I saw it pop up on the old Facebook. Anyway,
God bless you, Facebook.
I saw that. I was like, man, yeah, this is great. This looks super fun. Just a really great premise, because I'm not always like, there's just some things that I'm just, like, okay, that's this one's speaking my language, I love it. Sounds great. And I remember coming down and just auditioning, I think it was like, it was with Marty. Marty was there, and we just read, right? We just had some side. I got sides like that day, like right there on the spot. I think we just read the scene, and down at somewhere South Tucson, a little bit in that cool space.
Oh, that's right. That was that little area that you got, Marty.
Forget where that was.
But... Yeah, it was the remnants of Access Tucson. They moved.
Yeah.
Yes. Love it. So that was like, that was it. That was the time I auditioned. So I met you, and then I guess did I do a callback, or did we?
I think we had the callback, and then Cliff was on the Zoom on the laptop at that point, right?
Yes. Which was really nice. Yeah, it was nice to do the laptop in Zoom sort of auditions, because for the first one, which was Writing Frenzy, I just had to watch tape.
Oh yeah.
And then go, hey, have him try this and send me another tape.
Yeah. So it's great. You could give me some feedback. I don't remember all the details of that there, the callback for sure. I was also like nervous coming back in. I mean, any actor, that I feel like I heard this somewhat recently in the past couple of years, but like Paul Rubin, Pee-wee, he's just like, I hate auditions. I am terrified of auditions. I mean, you hear this from like the top actors everywhere, like it's hard. Auditioning is hard. It is super stressful. I mean, there's ways you can be really prepped and go in, and I feel more capable of that now, coming, but it doesn't matter. It's just like whenever you're coming into an audition, it is like, you get nervous. So it's like, how can you be as relaxed as you can coming in and, just like giving it your all, but also just, relaxed.
After many rounds of auditions throughout the years, and I know other people have these same feelings about it too, but I'm coming around to it more each time, that you can do great in the room and then read terrible on tape, or be great on tape but read horrible in the room. And I feel like these auditions more now, it's about meeting the person and see if you vibe with the person, because that's going to carry on further onto the set rather than I mean, performance is important too, but it's more about meeting. And which
there's
is
a
weird,
Dinner for
now
Five
people
episode like that.
So
Luis Guzman was on a Dinner for Five episode, and he said, he doesn't audition anymore, but he says, just get me in a room with whoever, and I'll get the part.
Yeah,
because he said he just you start vibing with the director, you start vibing with whoever, and then they're like, oh, we want this guy on set. He gets it. He's going to be. We know, and we've seen his work, so we know he can act, right?
Yeah.
And so he said that there's several actors like that, where they're just like, just get me on the phone or get me in the room with him, and I'll get the part.
I mean, that makes total sense, and same thing I've heard. It's just like a lot of times, like, how much does the director that they want to hang out with you? If they're shooting for a while, especially a feature,
3-4 months,
you gonna be cool? Hey man, are you cool? Is it cool? Are we cool? If the person's gonna be a handful, and if I come in and I want the red M&Ms in my green room, and I want everything polished brass monkeys, all over my.
Are you going to be disappointed on our set? That is.
Exactly.
We don't have the money for any of that.
And auditions are also weird because you just barely got the sides, and you don't know the character or the full range. And like, it's like, look, if you give me the whole script and let me go home for a month, I can come back and really show you the character. But all I know is this little thing, and I'm
Oh
hoping to impress you in like 5 minutes. So
gosh, I have to
auditioning
extract
is
so
weird.
much, and
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, just like, oh, what can I extract and see that what's happening here, and just really go in. And so, um, that was such a special like time. I just remember that everything extraordinarily fondly of doing that, like coming in with you guys. You were an established crew and team that had been working for a long time together. And I know I was coming in kind of as a replacement for who's my character. And
That
it
was
was
a
just
very nervous thing for us because we really loved the dude who played Billy the
yeah.
first time, and he was
Mhm.
good, and we just couldn't get him. He was union, and we couldn't afford him.
Yeah.
And
It's
you were a great second. I mean, you were a great
yeah.
choice.
Thanks.
Fantastic cast.
Second to none.
Literally, I literally don't see it any other way now. Like when I think of
Right.
that
Yeah.
character, it's you in that part. It's not the other way around.
Especially by the time you get the love song, because
It's
if we're
just
writing that with you in mind at
yeah,
that
oh
point.
yeah,
So
yeah. You are Billy Wall, and interestingly, how quickly you fell into that while you were on set. It didn't take long. I said the same thing to Eric. It didn't take long for most of them, actually. It
yeah.
didn't take long to get them there at all. They knew what they were doing real quickly. Oh yeah, okay, I'm Billy again. Yeah, I gotcha.
I had a blast getting into that character, and just like it was so much fun. Is a Billy's a blast.
It's always fun to play the out of control.
Yeah.
The crazy people, the wild people that are out of control, because you get to do a lot. It's a lot more range there, right?
Yeah. For me, I'm not someone who is a party animal, and so it's a something that I could tap into that really is like, you can bring catharsis to these roles where it's someone that, okay, yeah, I'm not like unhinged and on drug benders, but I get to play it, and it's super fun because it's like a
mhm.
really interesting and like funny life, that you
Mhm.
get to have a perspective on and play with and just have fun with, especially in Revenge of Zoe and yeah, Love Song. It's great.
You get to tap into your inner Hunter S. Thompson a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah. So he was a huge inspiration for that, for that that movie, and yeah, and just anything. I just love. We were talking right before we started here about like I feel like I'm a collection of influences
Hmm.
in kind of every area of my life,
Hmm.
in acting, in music. It's like, yeah, okay, maybe some things come through sort of original, but I know it's and I really like, there was one of my acting teachers from last fall um was just talking about it that way. It's like, yeah, it's great, like take and beg, borrow and steal what you are really drawn towards and what you love, and you find passion in, what characters and who can use as a reference point. And it's like, it feels like that with especially with acting. Yeah, it's like I am definitely going to look at this movie, this actor, this director, like how all those pieces come in, and what do I become from that,
Hmm.
yeah.
Well, speaking of that, is there like a dream role that you would want to do? Like something from all of your influences? Like if there was a specific role you could play?
I do like the idea of um a recurring character, somebody that's I don't even know if I would say the star lead role. I think a support, a regular, what do I say, series regular,
Mhm.
um I like the idea of a series like I don't know, I think about, just coming off the top of my head, like Stranger Things, the last season of Stranger Things, if whoever's seen it, Eddie, the
Yeah.
metalhead. It's like what a great freaking character. I won't do any spoilers, but he's in this season, and like that's great. Like if I was in like a season, I'm not even saying a whole series for many seasons, but like yeah, one season as a series regular, I think that would be kind of like, and then as far as genre, like yeah, probably like something more to the like comedy sci-fi horror zone, like mixed as one thing. I think that's like that's my favorite stuff. That's what I
You
love.
fit perfect with us then.
Exactly.
That makes
Exactly.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
No wonder it worked so well.
And then, just like, and then a character actor who's just like, if there's movies, like again, we were saying it's like, I don't need to be like a lead or, I don't need to be a full like lead star. Hey, this is a star, the star studded dude. It's just like somebody who's a character actor who shows up and it's like, yeah, this person, they're in the shows, you see them,
Charles
and
Durning or
there, yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's it,
Brian
yeah.
Dennehy.
Brian Dennehy, yeah, I love that. I love that kind of world of acting.
Mm-hmm. Those
That's
guys are for me. Those are the true kind of craftsmen. It's
yeah,
great. I mean, movie stars are great, and they're good at what they do. But those ones who do 40 roles or 50 roles over 10 years, in all
yeah,
these different pictures, and they're and they're different people every time. But
yeah.
there's it's really a craft.
I like
They're
that a
the
lot.
glue. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they are the glue. Yeah.
yeah, I like that.
Hey, so I have a question. How hard was it for you to get an agent when you got out? Like because you kind of were just like, yeah, I went out and got an agent. It was, no
Yeah,
problem.
I had like, I didn't have a ton of film. I had some film experience. Like I had my film experience was small, but like it was there was some stuff over the years, and then I think the training I had done in the theater group in Philly, and just like kind of being in that and some class, it was like it's like your cred, your resume. If there's like a little bit, it's kind of, there was enough there, I think, that I
Right.
could hand it over and be like, yeah, I'm not just like a total novice, but I'm not an expert at all. And so that was kind of it. And I think they took me in and they saw that like, okay, yeah, there's in a smaller market, like a regional market, like we're out here in Arizona, you don't have as many bigger, like LA or something is a vast amount of projects happening, but there's so many
Right.
people. And here, there's not as many projects, but like if the people look all the same,
Mm-hmm.
then so that was kind of my little like strong point is like, yeah, I had a different look that I think they could use for a wacky kind of guy that I
Yeah.
am. And
Right.
that's when, yeah, I started I got them as my agent. They're still my agent in Arizona, and I started auditioning. And oh man, I mean, the one of the benefits of the pandemic is now everything is Zoom. So I've done like a lot of auditions through self tape and just Zoom, like live casting, over
Mm-hmm.
the past 2 years. But for like many years, I was driving up from Tucson to Phoenix. So anybody that knows, Tucson to Phoenix is about like 2 hours, and I'd go up like, I was just doing this.
Straight through the desert.
I was going straight through the freaking desert. It's not a pleasant drive. You have to really like bank
Not
out
very scenic.
what podcasts do you have, who phone calls do you want to make and catch up on, and then just look at the same, dust bowl area, But it was like I'd go up and drive up 2 hours for a 5-minute audition, and then turn around and come back. And I did that a lot, and I was dedicated to that. Like I did it eventually. This was kind of right before Zoe, um, where I hit a point where I was like, they called me up for one. Oh, you got an audition? I was like, I just don't want to do this. I don't want to do it. And my agent was like, you should come up for this. This is a national. I didn't know the difference with all the stuff with like regional, national. And so then, I think my mom was visiting, and she's like, yeah, just go up. Like, let's just go up. I'll drive you up. And so we drove up, and which my mom loves doing. She's super supportive. She's totally like, so this is great because she drove me up. She was visiting. We went up. I auditioned. I didn't know what it was for. You didn't know, but it was just like 70s dude yelling something. That's it. And I came back. Then I got a call back, and it's like kind of nice ignorance in a way about all this, because now when I know how things work, and I get way more nervous when this stuff happens.
Ignorance is
But this was
bliss, right?
for a national commercial, and so I got the role, and it was for Mellow Yellow, the Mellow Yellow commercial, which was like, 70s
I've
guy
seen that.
holding the can super quick, but like I was a principal in a national commercial, so that's like really big. And and again, now it's like I just didn't know. I didn't realize the stakes at the time, but thank God I went. And so it was really great. And anyway, my agent was like, yeah, super cool. And then stuff has come from that since, and it's been really great. But anyway, that's kind of the thing with the agents. Like I've actually helped some folks I know in Tucson. I'm like, go to them, get them, tell them, refer, because I want to help people. I love when people start getting jobs and whatever competition. I mean, that happens. People like you maybe going after the same thing, and you see them in the room, and you're like, okay, well, just try to good luck. But like, it's you
Good
want
luck,
the
but I'm going
role
to
too.
crush you.
But everybody also, you want to help each other, and it's like it's
Mhm.
just kind of good karma. You want it's yeah, just to work. And then I got an agent in New Mexico, and have had some stuff with that, which is cool. But anyway, that's kind of the thing. It's agents, like it's definitely harder in the bigger market like LA. So
Mhm.
that
Mm-hmm.
was yeah, that's a
Interesting.
tougher one. That's the long answer for the agent.
For those of you listening, yeah, contact us if you'd like to represent us. We're looking for an agent. Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, agents and then managers, and the difference between agents and managers and all that work is yeah, you want people rooting for you, and
Yeah,
have your best interests, and like and you also, if you're putting in the work, it shows, and they'll see, hey, you are working, you're getting credits, and you're just busy and keeping your chops up.
Do any of the other jobs in film interest you other than acting? Or?
That's a really good question. I feel like I've really only been interested in, like, I'm an actor, I'm doing
Mm-hmm.
my role, getting into it, but I love watching on set. I love seeing everything. I love seeing all the parts, from sound, lighting, production assistance, directing. I do think that I would be interested. Yeah, directing. I think directing would be something
Hmm.
that would be fun. It would be a cool experience, and yeah, I forget who was I just
interesting.
listened. I just recently like caught. I forget the guy who has this show, but he was interviewing William H. Macy,
Hmm.
and it's a fantastic interview. I would like feel like I learned so much about acting and the industry, and directing, because he started directing, and he talks about that, the role of like what he saw and how hard it is in directing, and he's just like, it's insane, like the how intense and hard it is, which I don't doubt. I mean, it's like I totally can see that even on like lower budget shoots that he was doing. And um but I really got into that. I was like, yeah, I really, that would be interesting, like a directing role. That'd be cool.
So,
I There'll be a ton of work.
so going off of that theme, I've got a couple questions. So, do you have any favorite feedback that you've gotten from a director? Is there some piece of feedback that always sticks with you? Is that's like, wow, that's a
Mm.
great piece of direction, or that really had an impact on me?
I I think that when a director, like when you or anyone I've worked with, is just kind of gives that, like, yeah, that's it, just that's it, and that that works. It works. Um, that's great. I mean, I also love to be told. I love to be told what to do and sculpted on a shoot. If like that, the more the better. If somebody's giving me as much detail as possible, and really like nitpicking and like do it again, like I love doing that. I just love to have that happen. So
Interesting.
um
Interesting.
getting
I
critiqued.
would imagine that would drive an actor crazy. If I was as the director, I'd be like, I'm driving you crazy, right? Like making you do this 9,000 times and telling you to, hold your hand like this, and
maybe
wait, tilt your
Maybe
face,
if Kubrick made me open a door 80 times, that would be
right?
probably nuts. But
Or like
like,
Billy Wilder having Marilyn Monroe knock on that door. There's
yeah.
a movie about her having to knock on a door and do one line, and it's
Oh
like
my
82
God.
takes or something like that. It's I can't remember. There's an entire movie about it, like her breaking down and saying I can't give him what he wants, and it's all about knock 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 in a line.
I mean that seems kind of nuts. Like I don't know, there's something deeper in the happening there.
Right.
Like someone's maybe having a mental break, but it's like I think that I love getting told. I love getting like broken down and really dissecting something to see like all the areas. Like that's fascinating to me. But really, there's just the when it's like that's it, yeah, that's it, and it like feels like
Gotcha.
it clicks on all ends, like that.
Mm-hmm.
That I love. So it might not be something super specific, but just when that feeling is there, when there's a
Right.
feeling in the air and it becomes palpable.
So Bradford, when you get the script, do you normally? I've heard it both ways from actors. Some read the whole script, some just read for their parts. How about where do you stand on that?
Well, I will say it is all about me. And with that, I look at my parts first, for sure. I definitely do that. Where are they at? What's happening? But to get the whole context, I want to read the whole script. So if it's something where if we're at the point where okay, you got the part, then I'm reading the script right away. If it's an audition, I don't know if I have time to get read the whole script for that. Some people
Right.
have time for that. I don't usually do that. But I'll get as much as I can from whatever scene or like couple scenes that I see and do that. But yeah, I want to read the whole script because I want to know what's happening, and then see what the other characters are doing. What can I base that off of? And yeah, just kind of look for any things you can mine for information.
Mine for that acting gold, that
Minecraft
character gold.
Yeah, mine your craft.
To step back just a little bit in the conversation, both Cliff and I started out as trying to be actors, so we kind of, I think it's a good thing for people who want to be directors to have done some acting, so because then what it's like to be on the other side of the camera. To go back to you talking about wanting to possibly direct,
yeah,
we
I mean,
try
I
to
think
do all the different jobs because the more jobs you do, the more you know what everybody's doing. But I think that one's kind of crucial.
yes, that would absolutely make sense. I think you'd have to just be has to be a revolving door there if you're going to be doing either one of those things, directing or acting.
Mm-hmm.
They could be directing
or distracting, which
yeah.
is what I like to do on set. I like to, right before we're about to call action, I like to confuse everybody, all the actors, and then call action, because then that way you're not set with what you're doing. You're like, what? What was that? And I threw you off, so then I get a more genuine performance. That's the goal anyway.
I love it. You're like a chaos generator. You just become
the just a little bit.
Put random numbers in everyone's head and then make them try to figure it out.
I'll walk up to Owen, and tell him some weird joke right before action, and he'll be like, "What?" And then he'll be like, "Action!" And it's like, "Oh yeah, I got to do my part." But then it's like,
as if it's hard. If it's not hard enough to just try to remember everything that's happening and keep the lines going.
Tightrope walk.
I specifically remember during Revenge of Zoe, we were shooting in the comic book store, and the crew. It was a rough day. We'd been shooting one scene particularly long, and I think Marty and I were sitting outside talking. We were on a quick 5 or something like that, and what was it? I told you need to put this on your head and go running in there screaming, "I've got this on my head," and like kind of break everybody up. And he did it, and I'm dying laughing. I thought it was hilarious. And the crew, the cat, everyone was just like, seriously, dude, can we just get on with this?
Nobody cared.
And nobody cared. Like not a smile, nothing. Like
nothing.
I think if they could have legally punched him, they probably would have. It was just like, this is not.
And I was like, yeah, that was not a good time.
Yes. Okay, so all right, so bad idea.
So I stick to my normal, just keeping everybody on their toes.
I mean, it is
we go
great.
action.
I think it's great to have levity and humor on set. That I love that. I mean, that's super fun. I get a
that's kind of how I do it.
thrill.
I tend to direct through teasing and a little bit of fear.
Yeah. Oh
A
yeah.
little bit of both.
Yeah. I get that from you. I definitely. Yeah. It's fun though. It's great.
Well, what were
So
some of those good moments on
yeah,
set, Bradford?
exactly.
Oh boy. I think that like I mean I remember the drug scene in the car for Revenge of Zoe where we were filming
In a garage.
in the garage, yeah,
Yes.
with green
Yes.
screen behind, and it
Slap
was
happy.
yeah, and so I got there was a kiss scene with Zoe, wonderful
You're
Rachel
welcome.
Netherton, um, sorry, her
Kidding.
married name now,
Just kidding.
Rachel Miller,
Rachel Miller, yes.
and so we were like talking because it was like, okay, I didn't know her that well. They got a kiss scene. Um, the kiss is going to happen. It's kind of like, I remember the read through, we like looked at each other and like, okay. And
Yeah,
it's like, hi, hey, but it's just something. Yeah, of course you're going to like, that happens in movies. It's like, I've actually had a lot of kiss scenes over the years. So it's
not
like,
awkward at all, right?
it's not awkward, but you get to be very close with the person, it's like, yeah, you're immediately just like really good friends. And but it's like it's we had the scene coming and it was like, okay, we're gonna kiss, and Rachel's a beautiful woman, and so we're doing that, but the slap comes right after, right?
Right.
And you had a really tight shot on for this, and you were in the front seat. I remember filming, and so it was like, kiss, slap, do it again, kiss, slap, do it again, kiss, slap. And I mean, Rachel didn't have all of the like, maybe stage combat, where you can kind of like
try not to die laughing,
fool it a little, and just kind of like cheat it. There was some big slaps, so I feel like that night really created a Pavlovian response now to kiss equals pain.
I swear it sounded like at one point she had knocked a filling loose. Like there was one particular slap where I could just see your face and you were I was like, that really hurt.
Mercury just popped out of my tooth. I need to get that mercury filling out anyway, so it popped out, but it was like that was such a fun time. I mean, great memory of just like super delirious, very late night shoot doing that while we're doing a delirium scene while I'm on drugs and drinking. So it's like it's full delirium, and then it was like go home, go to sleep for a few hours, come back, and then now we're in the desert doing a psychedelic running around the desert.
Both of those are two of my favorite scenes in the movie.
That was great. That was like that 24-hour period of the shoot was super fun and super delirious. And it's like these really like actually, no one slept well. It was just
falling asleep, standing up.
Yeah, that pulling over on the side of the road just to shoot like we were in the desert was insane, and it worked perfectly.
That was great.
I mean, it worked beautifully, and people pulling over and sitting on rocks to watch us, and drones flying overhead,
drones flipping off drones.
What is going on?
Super fun. Yeah, I remember a drone came over. It's like someone's trying to see us here, and then it was that was super fun. I mean, everything was fun on all the shoots. Everything, both movies. I mean, I had a blast.
Did you have a favorite for Love Song? Do you remember anything particular for that one?
Which one for
the Love Song?
For Love Song? Mm-hmm. Well, it was funny with Love Song because like we were talking about this earlier. We were filming that, and we started filming in the fall 2019, kicked in the spring, and it was right when the pandemic came. So it was literally we're saying every day something was happening. We're like, should we keep doing this? Should we keep doing this? It was like exponential, like fear factor and everything coming. But man, looking back on that right now, just a blast, and like so fun doing that. I would probably say, just for that one, um, at Tuscan,
Yeah.
that was probably that might have been just my favorite, just because we took over the convention
We did.
and filming there, just like really fun scenes and having a blast, uh, filming during that, the convention. That might have been, yeah, maybe my favorite part of that for Love Song. But I mean, everything else, there's a scene, like a scene with the pottery, and that was really fun and enjoyable.
Fantastic. Another really good scene in that. That's
Yeah.
Can't wait for the people to see that one. That one's
How
gonna
are we
be
going
great.
to get a pottery wheel? I don't know. We'll just ask. Hey, guess
Yeah.
what? They not
Hey,
only
guess what?
have it,
Yeah.
it's in the house right where we're shooting.
Yeah.
It's just weird when
Amazing.
that stuff
And
works.
she's
You
willing
go
to
to
have me come over and
lessons.
take lessons. Yeah.
I remember taking lessons.
We have
I
to
took
add
lessons
Potter to your.
years before, but I had to get some refreshers, and she was very, very great to.
I remember her just laughing at you while you were doing that. The way
Yeah.
she's standing off camera, just laughing, and it's like none of that is right.
I
No,
know. Yeah.
and it's,
Can
it's
we make
so
it look
funny.
like it's real?
Put
I
more
eventually
water.
got it so I could sort of form a pot, a bowl
Yeah.
again, like
So
a
good.
something you give your grandparents when you were in like 5th grade.
Yeah, that's why we asked her to do that evolution of pottery, like the
Yeah.
evolution of man, where
The
it's like, what
caveman
is that?
pottery.
And yeah, kind of coming together until it looks, oh, look, it's an ashtray, fourth rendition.
But it's just the general like camaraderie on set with everybody. Coming from Revenge of Zoe, where it did feel like a troop. There was like a troop vibe. Everybody's and came back for the next one for Love Song. So just this like the feeling of like familiar faces, being able to like let loose, be comfortable, have fun, joke around, you know, goof, and then try to really make some good acting and scenes.
Make some movie magic.
Movie magic. Oh yeah.
Well, everybody has, their secondary career interests, and I know you have many, Bradford. But
Oh yeah.
out of all of those, if it wasn't for film, what would be your big one? Is it probably music?
Yeah, I think music. Music would that was like what I. That's what I started when I was younger. Starting like learning piano, piano lessons, guitar, and like when I was really young with piano. Actually, trombone I think came before piano, and
Hmm.
then yeah, like guitar, and just starting to play in bands, and been playing in bands and making music and writing songs for like, oh gosh, 20, I mean almost 30 years now. God,
Wow.
really? Wow. Jesus. Oh boy. But that's like yeah, it's music. Music's a huge part of my life. It still is. Um that's like, yeah, that's my other life.
Do
Really
you
still.
do you have a favorite film that would be based on music, or maybe a favorite musical?
um
Maybe a little one of both.
I mean, I do love the classics. I love classics. I mean, as much of like Annie, um, Rocky Horror.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a good one. Yeah.
Rocky Horror for me came out later. Though I like came into that later. My one friend in Delaware, Marin, I remember inviting me down for the live show. The midnight showing.
Yeah.
Um, but I was probably like 21 by then or something. So that's my first experience with Rocky Horror, and I loved it. So I love Rocky Horror. I also think that just a couple notable ones that like are interesting, which I don't know how much. It's not like a musical, but Decline of Western Civilization,
Mm-hmm.
as far as punk rock and like s- sort of it's a documentary, but there's a feeling of acting going on there, performance wise. At
Yeah.
least some of the bands,
Yeah.
and then
Especially some of the weirder ones. Yeah.
yeah, like I don't know. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think
There's a
like
there's
Fear. Fear was probably a big one for me because like leaving crossed into punk to acting, So I remember seeing him in
Mhm.
movies and some of those like
Yeah, like
Flashdance,
He
Clue.
was in Dudes, and
Yeah, yeah.
Clue. Yeah, that's right. He was Mr.
Mhm.
Body in
Mr.
Clue.
Body and
Yes.
Clue, and I love Fear. I love like yeah. Actually met
Yeah.
him. I met him up in New York. I got to see Fear at the Continental, and they closed the show after 2 songs because there was they were over capacity, so the fire marshal shut it down. So we drive all the way from Philly there. And so I saw them and met him, and that was it. But it was amazing, and I think at that point he was like, "Oh
Wow.
wow, he's like you can act and do music too, and like do both, and that's really cool." Um, but yeah, another probably one more other musical that my friend Sharon introduced me to is Forbidden Zone. And Forbidden Zone, Danny Elfman's brother made it. He directed it, and Danny
Uh-huh.
Elfman did the music for it. I think it was pre Oingo Boingo, and
It probably is. It's like 1980, I think.
yeah, and
Yeah,
so that is
that's
a
pretty going.
freaking weird musical movie.
It's very funny because I've
It's
never seen the film, but Cliff and I's, or is that
hmm
proper English? Cliff and I's
yeah,
old
Yeah,
Cliff and
public
Ice.
access show was called The Forbidden Zone, but we named it
Uh-huh.
after Planet of the Apes. So
you guys have never seen it?
no, it's
No.
always just been on that
Oh,
periphery.
well, that's your
No.
Since I
homework.
had something called Forbidden Zone, I always felt weird about watching something else called Forbidden Zone. But
Yeah,
I'm sure at some point I will have to take that
you're gonna have to watch that movie. It's you don't need drugs.
in. The movie is the
The
drugs.
movie is the trip.
It's a weird movie. Yeah, it's very weird. It's crazy.
So not like it's a Sophie's Choice or something, but if it was music or film, you'd probably be happy if either one popped, right? I would think.
Yeah, these days, film,
Yeah.
film, and I was saying this like I don't, I am not in a headspace of like yeah I want to be the famous lead actor, like total superstar. Um, I just love doing it, and if it's something where it'd be a consistent thing that could happen, just more often, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean by that. Yep.
Yeah.
I feel kind of the same way. I'm not looking to be Spielberg. I'm looking to
Yeah.
just put some movies out and keep working.
Yeah, I like the
I
process. Yeah.
yeah,
It's
I
it's a,
I love
yeah.
I love being on set more than I think anything else in the world.
I love it. I love it too. The feeling, the feeling of it, the environment, the atmosphere it's created, living and creating these things and worlds and characters, and it's such a strange thing that happens because it's so dependent a lot of times on uh, a lot of people, time, money, um and it's like but you love doing it, and it's something that's like it's it's hard to do a lot of times to just like materialize those things on
Oh yeah,
small budget, on large budget, and it's like it's just kind of a really I've done so many auditions past couple years, you get so many rejections and just or nothing, you don't hear anything, and you keep doing it because you love it, and people that are in the business are just like out doing it. I mean, there is ideas of like fame and stardom, but they also just love doing it. But you keep doing something. I mean, I forget what is the definition of insanity? You keep doing the
it's
same,
doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
right? It's weird. So it's almost everyone's insane who is are doing this, but they love their craft. They really something, the artist. I wish there was more of a place in our culture and society for the arts that allowed people to just really live and breathe it more, because it's such a huge part of people's passion and heart. And it's hard when they don't get to do that and you don't get to fully um you know make that happen.
Yeah, it takes so long to get one. If you're the writer or director or something, getting one onto its feet where you can actually finally do the thing that you want to do, which is show up on set and shoot the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a Herculean effort just to get to there, and then you've
Yeah.
got God knows how many days, weeks, or months to shoot the thing.
Yeah.
Um, but I again, you struggle through it every time because that's once you get there, you're like, here we are.
It's all
That's
part
it.
of it. Yeah.
That's why people do it. That's why we love
Mhm.
doing it.
Even those
It's
aggravating parts, you're making a movie. So,
yeah. Yeah. And it's really fascinating that, this happens from the low budgets to the big budgets, and they're dealing with the
hmm
same thing. It's maybe on a bigger
same thing.
scale, but it's even that they're having to hustle and get it all going, and
hmm
it's just wild.
That's what I'm hoping people will listen to this pod and relate to it for being also other filmmakers and be like, well, no matter what the budget, the experiences and the stuff that happens, you're always running into the same complications.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
And just because you have more money doesn't necessarily, that does more money stifle creativity. Some people think it might, because you can just throw money at a problem, but does it always fix the problem? I don't know. But then we start to drift into talking about movies that we didn't work on at that point. So
True.
That's the thing. You see that happen so many times, and like I don't know the whole story, but with like my sister was telling me about that with Batgirl, it's like, okay, I don't know why, but $90 million and they scrap it, and it's like that's unfathomable, just to think like,
I, yeah, I
wow.
can't imagine that either. $90 million. Jeez, that's
yeah, that's
ridiculous.
crazy. We could have made like 90 million movies.
Yeah, you give me $90 million, and I'm probably gonna make 900 movies at $100,000 a piece or something like that. Just keep cranking out those scripts, boys. We'll stay on set forever.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Well, if you have anything that you wanted to plug,
Oh, plug. I probably plug my computer in because it's about to die.
always helps. Is your computer
Uh,
plugged in?
what do,
Is it
what do I
turned
want
on?
to you can go to bradfordtrojan.com for any new things that might be there, or just see some stuff that I'm doing and find my links to all kinds of stuff. I am like not active very much right now on social media or anything. I'm so tired of it, but I know it's a way to see people and do things. I let people know when like something's coming up. So, love song coming out in months, whatever how it's going to come out. Like, I'm really excited for that. Um, I also did a feature, a rom-com last year that's, I think, will be coming out this next year. And then
Cool.
I did a short film. Um, that one is called, the rom-com is A Tuesday Wedding. And then there's a short film, sci-fi, that Constantine, who worked on set for Love Song, that he did, called Lucid Dreams, and that's going to be out, I think, this next year. There's going to be all these things coming out next year, which is
Nice.
funny because there's always the delay, the lag, right? Because it's like
Right.
not
yeah,
doing
yeah,
anything now, but then it'll look really busy, and then it'll
Oh,
be like,
feast and
um,
famine.
yeah, but yeah, just you could see me, whatever, reach out. I'm happy to see you. I was doing a podcast, which I have really loved. We've had a couple of the folks that you guys have all worked with, Eric Schumacher, Jeff Notkin, and other people from all areas of my life. And I might jump back in to the podcast world. I love podcasts. These are so fun. These are great
hmm
to do. It's
to our
just nice.
listeners, so just so if you haven't seen Revenge of Zoe, it's on Tubi. Bradford's in it. He's fantastic in
Watch
the
it.
film.
Watch it.
Go watch it. He
Do it
is
now.
also very terrible about self promotion. And so, as bad as he is at self promotion right now in this podcast, it's the opposite with his acting ability. So
Oh,
I'm telling you, he's really good. Go see it. It's fantastic. And then I really think Love Song was the step up for you. You really
oh
did a
man.
hmm
fantastic job on that. There's a lot of, I mean, we
Thanks.
asked you to do a lot of wild stuff in that movie. We sort of parodied a few things that while asking you to kind of play straight. Um,
Mm,
you know, you I mean, we're not really giving anything away. There's fourth wall breaks in the movie, so you're actually talking to the audience, and that's just different for an actor, to do, I think. And you pulled that stuff off really well.
thanks. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I am always learning. I am like, I mean, I said earlier, I'm just constantly wanting to learn more and expand my understanding of acting and characters. So I'm like, yeah, I'm just super grateful to be able to do anything that I've done already. I feel very blessed, and because it's such a gift to be able to do this and love doing it.
Well, I
So
think we were pretty lucky to have you say yes. So it
oh,
was it was pretty obvious during that first read through, which
yeah,
Marty was good enough. Marty was good enough to record. So every
Charlie's
now and then,
Charlie's.
if I ever want to go back to it, I can rewatch it, which is kind of nice
Yes.
to watch that because there's all this nervous energy and people reading, and
Oh my
it's quite
gosh.
good. But you can tell it's going to be good. You can tell even early on it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I remember from looking through the audition tapes, and there was a couple other people up for the Billy part, and what it came down to was, uh, is there a choice here? I mean, when Bradford walks in, that's the guy
Yeah.
for this part. You go, well, we can just stop right now.
Yeah. Oh, I
So
were interviewed.
it wasn't a Mulholland Drive. That's the guy. What do you think of him, guys? That's the guy.
That's the guy. And it was I was scared to death. Like I said, Jonathan was Northover, who played it in Writing Frenzy, was very good.
Yeah.
And you brought a different thing to it, but the same thing. This kind of uh, completely unbalanced, massively talented writer who is also just a complete egomaniac, and you know has massive substance abuse problems. It's fantastic. It was really really good. And
And
that stunt you pulled was fantastic too.
oh yeah, that was super fun. And and you get to see my butt.
Yes, you do. And then
I worked out
yes,
hard for that scene for a while actually. No joke. I was self-conscious. So I'm like I'm gonna do some workout.
I'm gonna tone it up.
Billy's gonna do some
Let the
buns of
ladies enjoy
steel. I'm gonna do some buns of steel.
it. 8-minute buns of steel
I really
workout.
did.
It was almost the second mooning, but we never got around to shooting that part.
That's
Yep,
right.
that's
That
true.
got scrapped.
And now it would seem like, where would that have fit, right? It's like it's funny the things like you think you got to shoot this part for a movie, and it ends up never being shot or a deleted scene, and then you look at the movie and you think, well, where in the hell would that have fit? But at one time, it seemed like the movie would have been incomplete without it. It's just strange.
I rewatched Revenge of Zoe last night in preparation for this, and
Oh,
I remember that scene where because you throw a really great offhand line. He's not banging on the door, and you're saying, go away. I don't need any more towels, because you think it's the maid, and leave me alone. I swear to God, if you knock on that door again, you're gonna regret it. And then all right, and you just turn your back towards the camera, and you just drop that towel, and you rip the door open, and Paul's reaction is like, oh, geez, it's perfect. And then of course you're like, I think your line next is, it's a game the maid and I like to play. And, Paul's like, what?
yeah.
And you just sort of threw that line away perfectly, where it's like you didn't hammer it, you just threw it away and let Paul react to it. It was beautiful.
What a game we were playing.
Yes. What kind of game is that?
What kind of weird game.
Fantastic.
Oh.
Well, Bradford, we appreciate you taking time out to talk to us.
Oh man, my pleasure.
We admire you so much, and appreciate you being in our films and taking time out to talk to us.
Giddy up. My pleasure. Super grateful. Thank you guys.
Marty, do you have anything else before we jump out of here?
Oh no, I think that was a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Bradford, again, thank you so much, buddy.
Thanks, dudes.
Thanks, man.
All right. We'll see you next time on Making Pondo, y'all.
Yes, we'll be making more Pondo.
Say goodbye, Bradford.
See you guys.